Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the Latinista On Demand on Crowdcast. My name is Jai Vargas, your host. I am founder of the Latinista. For those of you who don't know us, the Latinista is a national network for Latinas and women of color invested in career and leadership development. I want to share with you why we're here today. It is June, and more specifically, about 10 days ago, on June 15th, was a pretty momentous day for equality at the Supreme Court of the United States. I want to read to you something that just happened. With a 6-3 ruling, it stated that the LGBT community people cannot be fired or never hired based on their sexual orientation or gender identity. I want to share with you that these rulings remind us that us and all people, inclusive of the LGBT community, deserve the rights and protections of the Constitution. And with this ruling, PFLAG families across the country are celebrating and breathing a little bit easier today, knowing that the LGBTQ plus community and loved ones are protected from employment discrimination. It's actually very near and dear to my heart. I've been an ally to the LGBTQ community for over 15 years. I've dedicated a really big amount of time and money and energy to this community because of the fact that I have a personal connection. I actually have worked with the Latino Commission on AIDS as well for about 14 years and helped them fundraise and develop all of their marketing and social media as well, and I'm a big contributor to their annual gala here in New York City. We're here today to celebrate Pride Month, all month during this amazing month of June, and we're honored to be featuring Blanca Leos, who's a Latina. She's also a mother, and she's going to be sharing with us the story of her son's coming out, as well as her work with PFLAG. PFLAG stands for Parents and Families and Friends of Latinos and Lesbians and Gay of our communities. And we're so happy to welcome you, Blanca, for being here.
Thank you. And I appreciate the opportunity to, talk to everyone. Obviously it's a cause that's very dear to my heart, and I'm happy to be on this platform talking to my people, the Latinos out there, and as well as other mothers or other people that can relate to my story and my journey with my son. I started coming to PFLAG. My son came out about 10 years ago. He came out to me when he was 14. He's now 24. And he, just told me his story. He basically was having a tough time in school and reached out to one of the counselors. And the counselor's like, your son has something to tell you. So we got in the car, and he said, Mom, I need to tell you something. It's going to be really hard. And so he just blurted it out. It was a bit of a shock to me. I'm not going to lie. I think, it's something that as a mother, you never know how you're going to react, and you don't know the right words. So, I talked to him, and I was like, how do you know? And he explained what he was feeling and how he felt. And I said, okay, thank you for sharing. I think I did cry. So, initial reaction, now that I look back, I kind of regret it. I didn't know, and I wasn't prepared for something like that. So that's how I came about PFLAG, because I had nothing, no family members, no other resources, if you will, at my will that I could reach out to. So I Googled, 21st century, where, we go to the internet and find out what does that mean. So One of the things that really shocked me and was really hard for me was the statistics that I found. Um, the statistics for depression, for suicide, for substance abuse is so much higher in the LGBT community. And that scared me. I didn't want my kid to end up and be a product of this. So obviously I did the second best thing is researched, education or how do I educate myself. And I Googled parents of LGBTQ and PFLAG came on my search. And so I went to the first support group and I cried the whole time, mainly because my son was very suicidal and very depressed. And I didn't know how to help him. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. And I found myself in a place that I didn't know who to reach out to. As a Latina, we're very close to our family, so that would be the first people that I would reach out to. However, with this situation, I felt like I couldn't reach out to my family. I didn't know that they would understand, and I didn't know what the reaction was going to be. So that's why I went to PFLAG, to get some education and to find out what that meant and what it meant to be a parent of an LGBTQ person. So I came to the first PFLAG support group and I cried and I spoke about my problems with my child. I did tell him that he was suicidal and very depressed and I didn't know what to do. So we kind of just talked about it. I talked to other parents and I found a community. I never thought that I was going to have such great support and have such great people come to my I don't know, like as a resource. And so it was a great thing for me. I learned a lot about the LGBT community, and then in time I was able to open up to my own family. The main thing that I think I struggled the most was with my religion. I'm Catholic, and my upbringing was that that was not okay in the Catholic church. So I didn't know what that meant for me and for my beliefs anymore. So I think that was the main thing that I was struggling a lot with. I didn't understand why God would give me a child that's part of the community if it's not okay, and so I was struggling with that. Luckily, I am surrounded by very supportive friends, and my family reacted very well to to my son being gay. There was some hesitation at first. I think it's for all of us. It was the fact that we didn't know anything about the LGBT community, and a lot of the things that are in the media are not very positive about the community. And so it's very, you just get scared. My family was scared for my son's well-being and for what it meant for him. Was he going to get bullied? Was he going to get killed? And so a lot of the questions that I think a lot of the parents struggle with when a child comes out.
Wow.
And I think that was the main reason why I just came to PFLAG. I needed to know that my son was going to be okay, and I needed to be surrounded by people that were, having, people in their family that looked like me. My son at that point was the only person that was part of the LGBT community, so it was for my family.
Wow, and I must say, I honestly think that your reaction is a natural one and is a normal one. Receiving information like this that you could have never expected is absolutely a shock.
Yeah.
If I may ask, how old was your son when this all happened and when he shared this with you?
He was 14, and when I asked him, he was 14, but when I asked him, how long did you know that you were gay, like before telling me, he said that he had known since he was 13, so only a year before. I think, he said that, he didn't want to tell me right away because he was very unsure. As a matter of fact, I think when he told me, right away I was very confused because then he started dating a little girl. And I was like, I thought you were gay. What do you mean you're dating someone? And he found it that it was easier to say that he was bi because people were more accepting than for him to just tell people that he was gay, which I found very odd, if you will. Now that I've been around the community and I know so much, I've heard that that's a lot of people do that, or a lot of people are very unsure. Mostly too because they'll have some kind of attraction for both sexes, and so they are not 100% right. But then he found out very fast that he was not attracted to girls, so that was kind of different. And then it was hard for my family as well, because I remember my brother-in-law saying, I thought you said that he didn't like girls, and look at him, he's a little Casanova, like hitting on all these girls. And I'm like, no, he's just, I think it was easier for him that way to kind of ease in through to be who he was, and so I think he struggled a lot too. One of the reasons why it was hard for me in my religion was because I would find notes in his room that would say, why did God make me this way? And why am I so different? I wish I was just normal. And it would break my heart because I'm like, you are normal. Like, it's okay. Why do you feel like you're not normal? And so I think that was one of the things, because he was even struggling with why God made him this way. And so that was really heartbreaking to me as a parent, to learn that not only I was struggling, but he was struggling with this as well. And the last thing you want to hear is that your kid just does not feel good for who he is. And so that was really heartbreaking for me. And I didn't know how to make it comfortable for him. I didn't know what to say or how to make him feel like it was okay to be part of the LGBT community.
Yeah, and you mentioned your religious background and your upbringing as a Latina. Tell us a little bit about your experience as a Latina. You actually live in Denver, so it's a pretty progressive community. But tell us about your upbringing when it comes to a religion perspective, and tell us about your religious perspective now that you've had experiences with this community and the fact that you're so accepting because your son is part of the community now.
Well, I think it took a lot of time and a lot of soul searching in my end. Yes, as a Latina, obviously you're brought up with the, with Catholic beliefs, and knowing that it's in the Bible that it's not okay for two men to be together and things like that. And so a lot of that was a big struggle because, I felt and I feel still to this day that I didn't do anything different than anyone else to have my child. So I didn't understand why, why did God give me a child that's part of the community? Like, what did I do different? And so I think it's just for me is understanding what that meant. Like, I do believe in God, and I do attend church, and I'm very spiritual. And I mean, I call myself a Catholic. I don't think that I'm the normal Catholic, if you will, because, it is hard to go to church and hear the priest say stuff about the LGBT community in a negative way. And it isn't accepting. One of the things I will tell you that early on when I was struggling with my religion, I did go to church. I went to the priest and I told him, I'm so lost. My son tried to commit suicide and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help him. I don't know what to say. And he said, although the church is not accepting and the church teaches us something, I'm going to pray with you. And I want to hold your hand and pray and help you through this. And so all we did was just sit there and pray together. And that was so comforting, because although he knew that he couldn't say certain things to me, he still prayed with me and made me feel so comfortable to be part of the Catholic Church, So I think that if things would have been different and he wouldn't have done that, I think I would have steered away from the Catholic Church. But because he did that, it just was so empowering to me that it looks a little different to me. I mean, I will say, like I said, I'm not a typical Catholic person as I was before. But, all of my family, my sisters and my brothers are very religious. And although they believe in the church so much, they have never, ever been mean to my son. They've been very accepting. And even my brother, he's always like, I pray for him and I pray for you and I pray for both you guys and his well-being. So, it looks different, but we still are very, we still believe in God. And I believe God gave me my son exactly the way that he intended. And so I don't think that, I need to do anything different, Like I said, it does look different. I don't practice as much and I don't go to church as much, but I do pray every day. And it's funny because I always tell him, I pray that you have you get a beautiful boyfriend and that he is wonderful and loving to you. And he's like, thanks, Mom. So it's different, but I do believe, depending on, I think that more and more the church is becoming more acceptable and more accepting. And you find that a lot of people that are in the community are accepting and understand,
That's beautiful, and I'm so glad to hear that the Catholic Church reacted in that way and that he was praying with you and for you, and I'm so glad that your son is thriving. I want to talk a little bit about PFLAG. I came to learn about PFLAG about, I'd say, 10 years ago when I was going through a very personal time as well, when someone very near and dear to my heart came out. Someone who's very influential in my life now. Her name is Stephanie Battaglino. She's actually on the line with us today. She does a lot of great work with PFLAG on a national level. I want to hear about your experience with PFLAG, and Stephanie has been so incredible to share the type of work she's been doing for them. Stephanie and I met when we were working together in corporate America, and she actually transitioned being a man to now being Stephanie. And she has taught me a great deal about the community and about acceptance and about the great work that they're still striving for when it comes to policy change. I think it's very important that you reached out to a community like PFLAG for that support group. Tell us a little bit about PFLAG. Now you actually work for PFLAG. What is your role? What kind of programs do you put out there? And how can we as allies help you promote what PFLAG does in the community?
Well, so for those of you that don't know the history of PFLAG, I'll give you a little bit just of background. So PFLAG was founded in 1973 by a mother marching with her son in a parade in New York City, holding up a sign just in support of her gay child. And immediately after that, people started reaching out, other parents started reaching out that wanted the same, wanted to be part of a community, support their children, and they formed a support group and started answering letters. So letters started coming in, other parents asking questions and, just wanting guidance and support. So, that was established. And then I came to the PFLAG Denver chapter in, like I said, 10 years ago. And they were founded in 1984. And the chapter in Denver was just very accepting. Their main purpose is just to support, educate, and advocate. So we provide support for the families and just in families, could be in any different way, shape, or form. For us, the support system is, any friends, allies, whether it be like grandparents, parents, brothers, whatever. We support the whole family as a whole. We make sure that we have resources for them. We have, whatever that may look like. We have, we go and do speaking events. We go to churches and speak about, being an ally and just being accepting. And so, PFLAG's main work is that, we start, obviously my journey was as, providing support for myself. And then I became, a volunteer. So I would volunteer for for like tabling a Pride Fest or whatever. And then I became an advocate, which is what I started running the chapter in Denver. I ran the chapter for almost 6 years. And, we provided programs. We went and spoke in churches. We went and, we would be in every Pride parade, just providing information to those who are struggling. Our main thing was also providing, just resources for the parents and the families who are struggling with this. Because although it is the person that's coming out their journey, the family and the people around them also suffer with it. Like I said, with my story, it was hard for me to deal with all this. And although I was accepting, my son's dad was not. And so bringing him on and helping him through this journey was also key. And although we're in this day and age that people are very supportive, there's a lot of people that are still struggling. It's hard. It's something that, obviously when you have a child, you don't get handed a booklet on how to handle every situation. So you never know what's going to happen when something like this comes along. So just walking them through the journey, making them, educating them, because a lot of it comes from fear. For me, it was fear. My family has a friend that, we had a long friend that has been a part of our family for years and years. He passed away, but he had been a part of our family and he was gay. And I remember having a conversation with him early on, and I would be like, and he's like, why are you struggling? And I told him, because I'm scared. And he's like, you need to stop being scared. That he's going to be okay. And you need to know that he's going to be okay with your support. And I think that, a simple little word as that, it made a big impact on me, because it was my own fears that was making the struggle harder for me, because I was scared that I was going to find him in a ditch or something, and so it is that fear. And so for a lot of people, it's the fear of the unknown. We don't know about the LGBTQ community, so we just assume the worst. And so education is key, I think. And that's what PFLAG does. It provides all that for people that need it.
Yeah, I have to say your feelings of fear are absolutely valid. Like you mentioned, you don't get handed a playbook when someone so close to you comes out, especially when your son, who's so young, comes out. And, as a parent, I'm not a parent, but as a parent, I'm sure you feel that you want to be supportive in every way, and you just want the best for him, and you want him to be successful. I come from a very corporate background. I was very lucky and honored, and my organization was very generous in the fact that we had an LGBT community in the employee resource groups. I also helped Stephanie with launching the Ally LGBT community. Being an ally really on the struggle as your own, as if your life and your friends depended on it. And so it's very important for us to understand what that community is going through. It's important for us to understand the legislation. It's important to us to understand how to stand up for them and to fight for them. PFLAG has been an incredible organization for many friends and for many family members to navigate this. And I'm very aware that I live in New York City and that we have many communities and the opportunity to be as free and as open as we possibly can. Of course, like any other community, there are so many challenging, struggles when it comes to coming out and supporting this community. But tell us a little bit about where we can find you and how we can help support you in your PFLAG role.
I think the key, like you said, is being active as an ally. You know what I mean? Everyone needs that support. You know, I think with everything that's going on in the world right now, even more so now that everything that's going on with the riots and everything in the political sense, you know, being there for one another and supporting each other through this struggle. You know, I think, you know, knowing laws that affect the community, being involved in that, speaking up, like you said, speaking up when people are being bullied or being talked to in the wrong way, becoming involved in like organizations, like you said, you know, if there's something in your work that you could be a part of and be supporting the community would be ideal. I think that the more that we join together, the stronger that we are. You know, I think that, you know, hate is taught, you know, and so I think we need to learn how to teach each other how to love each other and respect each other. You know, we're all different. So we're all gonna have different beliefs and we're all gonna have different backgrounds and different things that, you know, are priority for all of us. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with being a support system for each other. You know, you can definitely reach me on the national website. I'm the Mountain West Regional Director for the states of Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, Arizona, and New Mexico. And so I cover all those areas. You know, if you need anything from me, you can definitely find my contact information there. You know, you can also email me, mountainwestrd@pflag. You know, I love working with the Latino community, and that has always been my priority as you know, PFLAG chapter and even as regional director. I would love to empower our community and just have more resources available for the Latino community, just because we don't have that many opportunities. And that's one of the major goals that I do, and what my key role in being a regional director is working with the Latino population. I want to be able to, you know, I speak Spanish, so I'm fluent, and I speak to a lot of parents that are very, you know, that don't speak English and that they don't have the ability to get some of these resources available. You know, so providing those resources in Spanish. I'm lucky enough that my sisters and my brothers are very supportive. And when I need translations, they jump on and they help me. They're like, okay, we'll help you translate whatever. So they've helped me translate a lot of, you know, the information that's available in Spanish. I think that it's very important because, you know, our Latino community needs to be empowered also. And we need to have resources for them, you know. When I came to PFLAG, I was the only Latina person in the room. And that made it very apparent that we need that those resources for our community as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I commend all of the work that PFLAG has been doing on a national level. For those of you that want to connect with Blanca, please reach out to her. I've dropped in the PFLAG website, and please connect with Stephanie Battaglino. She does a lot for the trans community, and she's the one that educates me and keeps me in the loop about all of the policy changes when it comes to Title 17. I do agree that the Latino community needs so much help and education and support because there is still so much discrimination amongst the Latino community when it comes to the LGBTQ community. I know it because of my own personal background and experience with this community.
Yeah.
And Blanca, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to tell us about your personal story. That's very brave of you, and I commend you as a mother and as a Latina for sharing your time and your energy with us. And please stay in touch, and please let us know how we can support you, and we will be connecting with you on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Yeah, you know, I would love for all of you guys to, you know, find me, you know, if you need it, if you know anyone that needs us, my help or any, like I said, you know, even if they just need to talk to me via email or call, you know, I would be honored to talk to anyone that needs my support. That's why I got involved, and that's why I continue to do this work, is because I know that there's so many people out there that need the support. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Everyone at PFLAG is wonderful, and you'll love them. It's a great community, and we're all very passionate about what we do and very loving. You know, everyone from the national all the way down to the local chapters. You know, there are 400 chapters over in the U.S., so you can reach out to us, any of the chapters. We'd be happy to assist you. And, you know, we're all a big family. And it's funny because we say that all the time. Once you become part of PFLAG, you kind of don't go away. You know, I've been doing this work for 8 years, and, you know, I'm going to continue to do it until I can't anymore. And, you know, I would love to reach out to anyone that needs my support. That's why we're here, you know.
Wonderful. Thank you, Blanca. And for those of you who would like to find out more about the Latinista, check out the rest of our library and our professional development workshops. We thank PFLAG, we thank Blanca and Stephanie. If you want more information on Blanca, Stephanie, or PFLAG, check out the chat, connect with us. And if you need support in any way, shape, or form supporting the LGBTQ community, reach out to the Latinista and us as a whole. We love you, we thank you, and happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride. Bye.